Hello and welcome to SOVL. SOVL is a turn-based strategy game roguelike, so it pitches two medieval / fantasy style armies against one another. So imagine your sword and shield guys, some halberdiers on the flank, maybe some archers in the back, but in between you get the trolls on the other flank, a giant in the middle and a wizard throwing fireballs and other magic around. If you have any familiarity with Warhammer Fantasy Battles, the tabletop or the game, or indeed even the old world, then you'd be right at home with this. You have no problem picking it up. If not, I'll explain the concepts as we go along. SOVL doesn't particularly have a tutorial, so I'll explain the base mechanics at the start, and then we'll kind of roll into the more advanced stuff as we go along. I won't repeat myself. So as you've seen from the title and thumbnail, we'll be playing as the Goatmen Raiders Minotaur Lord. It's the Walking with Beasts edition of SOVL. Now, my emphasis with this was, with our previous run, so for everyone coming over, we played as elves. Specifically went with elves, all archers all the time. It was just a solid wall of ranged-based death, which is fun, but we obviously want a bit of variety, so let's go with the opposite approach this time. I'm going to focus on melee combat, more specifically because it's not just going to be plain old infantry and cavalry like we usually use. Rather, I'd want to use monsters. So I had a look through the armies and characters I can field, and I think, but what's the closest I can get with that spirit? The Minotaur Lord of the Goatmen is the closest I can get, so all of the characters usually come with either cavalry or maybe a big block of infantry. It doesn't really work, so the Minotaur Lord and his two accompanying friends are the closest I can get, and then throughout the campaign I'll try and pick single entities and monsters as much as possible, as much as it allows me to, depending on what we see. We're playing on the highest difficulty, so the end, it's a little bit, I won't spoil it, but there'll be a little bit of extra stuff we can do at the end, which is fun, and that's how we're going to play it. Okay, so we come to the most important decision we'll make throughout the campaign, our starting two units. Now our Minotaur Lord, of course, comes with his two Minotaur friends. We're just stuck with it, so as we go through, we'll stick with the theme. We're going to go with monsters, so the raiding chariots here are great because it's two of them, which is convenient early on in the campaign, and they are single entities, so yep, they fit the theme. And of course, for our second choice, we'll go with the feral giant. Minotaurs are fantastic, and if you wanted to min-max, I would probably argue that they were the best choice, but we can't possibly turn down our feral giant. It's a monster build. Of course, we're going to go with the monsters, so big monster, chariots, and mini monsters. Perfect. Act 1. Okay. I'll quickly explain the campaign and the legend here as we go through. So we're going to start on the left and make our way left to right as we go through these stopping points to eventually get to the Act 1 boss. As you may have kind of insinuated from Act 1, there will be an Act 2 after that, so after we get through here, we'll do it again. Let's quickly go over options. So cross swords are battles, in which case our army, such as it is, will face an enemy army in exchange for gold and experience on our troops at the risk of potentially sustaining casualties. Well, do you want gold? Well, we can spend gold in these armories. So an armory is basically a shop in which you can buy new units or improve the ones you already have. Instead of battles, you can have elite battles, which are harder in exchange for more gold. Random events in these question mark dice, hard to describe in advance, but it could be one of anything. So a mercenary band that you can employ, a group of monsters that you can kill for a reward, a forgotten tomb with treasure in it, etc, etc. We'll go through a couple of them throughout the campaign to kind of show them off. And then last but not least are the campsites. We won't be seeing a lot of them, because unlike battles, you don't get any gold from campsites, rather you get experience and healing. So you will use a campsite if your army is taking a very nasty kicking and you need to replenish, but otherwise you probably want to avoid them. So what we want to do then, we want to generate as much gold as possible, so let's try and navigate our way through this while going through as many battles as possible. So we can start up here and have 3 in a row, that's great. Then we can either go up or down, so we want to be able to have an elite battle, which is good. Elite battles in the first act are really nice because they're not particularly that much harder than the normal ones, and you get twice as much gold, so you want to aim for these as heavily as possible. So this way you get 5 in a row, 1 round event. We are stuck going through a campsite, which is unfortunate. Alternatively, we can come 3 and then down here. We get 1 random event, and then we can skip it and we can go that way, which is pretty good. Or down this way, we lose a battle, so we end up with 2 random events rather than 1, but in exchange we get an extra elite. Now between those two, the elite is worth about as much gold as the 2 fights, which is good, but then you lose the experience. So there's less guaranteed value in the random event. So I think I'm going to come up here, through here, make our way down, and then make our way up here like that, so we generate as much strength as possible. The Act 1 battles are pretty easy, so you want to kind of leverage them to your advantage and generate as much gold as quickly as possible. As well, we have Savage Splitter the Feral Giant, the Gore Pelt Scamp Chariot, Shadow Hoof Hunter's Chariot, and then Muddick Iron Fur and his Stone Axe Minotaurs. Mini monsters, big monster, chariots. Close as I think as close as you can ever get to a single entity army in SOVL. We're up against roaming brigands. So the quick tip, the little picture there will usually give away at least some indication of what you're fighting. So there'll be a unit of swordsmen, which I know, and then there'll be a unit of archers. The archers will almost certainly be here. So what we'd love to do, of course, is we like to get units onto them as quickly as possible. Now if we have a look at our guys, I'll explain why later, but we would much rather... I'm going to put you in the terrain here, so ordinarily units can't deploy any further than that way, so this is the deployment phase. Move the guys around, deploy across the field. If you can hold the shift key while you drag guys, you can spin them, in case you want to orient for some reason. We're just going to leave ours forward. Units with the ambusher ability, such as our chariots here, can deploy anywhere on our side, so rather than being limited to a quarter of the table like this, they can deploy... Well, in fact, that's even less than a quarter, isn't it? But yeah, they can deploy as far up as halfway, which is great. So wherever the pesky little archers are, I'll be able to get on them almost immediately, which is good. I might get shot, that's fine, and I'll put the Minotaurs there. They're actually back on that side, they're in the terrain. Clever. But I can still reach them instantly, it's not going to help them. So we'll start immediately shifting our way over there. Be a little bit careful when you deploy up against walls like this, you have to kind of slowly peel yourself off of them, otherwise you'll end up stuck. If I try moving forward now and it's red, it won't let me. So just inch your way forward, and then as you twist, and eventually you'll get free. The archers are going to shoot us, now the reason I was happy to do this was because even if this did happen, they'd be firing into us in cover. There's a number of things these cover pieces do difficult terrain. One of them is such that if anything shoots at you, you benefit from cover. You're behind a tree, so it's harder for ranged things like archers to hit you. So ordinarily the archers will be hitting on 5s. To determine the hit roll of an archer, look at their number of attacks. So 10 archers get 10 shots, they roll 10 dice. And then to hit, it says 6+, which means only the roll of a 6 on a roll of a 6-sided dice will count as a success. The reason for that is because when you're calculating hit roll, it's the number 7, subtract your skill. So 7 minus 3 is 4. Ordinarily they'll be hitting on 4+, or the result of a 4, 5 or 6 will succeed. However, in this case they dropped all the 4, 5 and 6s. A couple of reasons for that. One is that it's long range. They're shooting at us from beyond half of their maximum distance, so they're suffering a -1 penalty due to the distance. We're far away, we're hard to hit. And then they're suffering a further -1 due to the fact that we're in cover. So their 4s became 5, became 6s, really difficult. I then get my save. I'm defense 4. The power of the enemy attack is 3 on longbows. You can hover over enemy weapons here to see what their power is. With melee weapons, it'll be the strength of the actual units. With ranged weapons, it's the weapon itself. So power 3, defense 4. Defense is superior to power, which means we save on a 3+, or a 3, 4, 5, 6 succeed. Only a 1 or 2 will fail. It represents defense, of course, being superior to power. We have better than not odds of succeeding. We still roll 3, exactly. Our armor chins the damage, we take none. Now, the two most important keys you'll be using throughout SOVL are the X key and the C key. The X key gives away your charge range, so this is what I can charge if there's anything in front of me I want to hit. So I can already hit the archers, and I'm probably just going to have to take it because I can't really do any better. I could, in theory, try coming around here, but I can't get to their side because these units too close. I'll never be able to. So yeah, we'll just take the head-on charge and smash the archers immediately. So the X key gives away yours, and the C key lets you see the enemy charge radius. If you don't want to be charged by the enemy, of course, just stay out of that. So I'm well within range, I can clearly see them, so there's going to be some dead archers in a second. As for the archers, I'm going to move the Minotaurs up here. So this unit of swordsmen is positioned not particularly well at all. They made it very easy for my Minotaurs and Minotaur Lord to get into their flank. It's going to be bad news for them later, and then our giant here will just start having them run up as fast as possible. And combat phase happens. There are no combat to skip it. You go to the charge phase. So this is the phase where you get to charge things. So we're going to send the chariot straight into the archers to deny them their range to combat, and the Minotaurs are going to butcher this Imperial Swordsman unit. Strategic phase. So other things we can do. The enemy no longer has any strategic phase because they're all engaged in combat. So we'll just run these other up here as fast as we can. They just can't quite reach yet, but next turn if they do. Okay, let's start looking at combat. So when we get into melee, I'll explain this for the first time. To determine your hit roll, you get a number of attacks to hit them and wound them. So your number of attacks, of course, is determined by looking at the attack profile of the unit. So a raiding chariot has 4 attacks base, however we've gone up by 2. So if you look at your abilities, chariots have the crushing charge ability. Charge bonus, so whenever you charge a unit, this bonus kicks in. +2 power and +2 attacks. So my power 4 has gone up to 7. That's because the hand weapon also generates power on the charge. So charge bonus +1, charge bonus +2 for 3 in total. 4 plus 3 is 7, so all the way up to power 7, which is amazing. And then 4 attacks up to 6 attacks, so we get 6 attacks. Now, to determine, so that's why 0 of 6. To determine the hit roll in melee, unlike shooting, it's not the 7 minus the skill trick. Rather, it's you compare the skill of the 2 enemy combatants. So, where skill 3, the enemy is skill 3, we have equal skill. When skill is equal, you hit on 4 plus, or a result of a 4, 5, or 6 will succeed. It represents the skill of the 2 combatants being precisely equal. You have an exactly 50-50 chance of landing a blow. You get 3 hits, perfectly average, and 3 die. I'll explain what some of this stuff is now. Right, so down it. So I got my 3 hits, which is fine. The enemy then got to roll their save, so because power is superior to enemy defense, they'll be saving on 5 plus, so bad. In this case, it's 6 plus 5, because if your power is 3 or more greater than the enemy defense, it reduces the save again all the way down to 6 plus, so power is crushing. The armor has basically no chance of saving the blow. Only the result of 6 will save a guy. The archers didn't roll any 6s, they rolled 5, 4, 1. All 3 of them got splattered by the chariot charge. The archers then get to fight me back. All 10 of them still get to fight. There's no initiative in SOVL, you don't go first and second. Everyone gets to use all of their attacks in combat, so those 3 guys got to hit me at the same time as I ran into them. So 10 attacks. They also hit in 4 plus, they were slightly above average, they got 6 hits. Now it's my turn to save. Power 3, defense 4. Power is inferior to defense in this instance, so the save is beneficial for me. It's 3 plus, so only 1s or 2s will injure me. I take 1 wound. Perfectly reasonable. Okay, so after a combat happens, I'll explain this before I roll. You then have to roll a discipline check. So we charged the enemy, we did 3 wounds, and they did 1, so I won by 2, because 3 minus 1 is 2, that's how much I won combat by. The losing unit then has to roll a check to see if they stay in combat or they break morale and run away. So you take the discipline of the unit. I think discipline of the archers was 7 from what I saw. You subtract how much you lost by, so 7 minus 2 is 5, and then you add 1 for your complete rank. So they've got 1 rank there of 5 guys, so 5 plus 1 is 6, meaning they have to roll a 6 or less in order to stay in combat on 2 dice. They rolled a 5, which is very good. They did well. Brave archers, they stay in combat with me. Okay, on to the next one. Our Minotaur Lord's going to go. Same principles. I've got better skill though, so I hit on 3 plus, and I reroll failures. That's due to I believe he has the frenzy ability at reroll missed attack rolls in the first round of combat. So we're going to roll our 5 attacks, and then if I get any misses, I'll be able to roll them again, try and convert them into successes. So try and roll that again. Now 5 of 5 on the reroll. Power is superior to enemy defense, but they rolled, so they had a 5 up save, but they rolled 5, 6, 6, 6, 5. The swordsman just completely disregarded me and survived anyway. The Minotaurs then go, same principle, still better skill, 3 up, and they also have frenzy, so 2 of them with 4 attacks each is 8 attacks. 5 hits re-rolling, there's actually 7 hits, and 5s again. They still roll above average, that's pretty incredible. They hit 6 hits every single time. This is the greatest unit of swordsmen that's ever taken the field. But again, my defense is superior to their power, so 3 up save. I take 2 wounds. The Minotaur's alive, but he took a lot of damage. So that is a preposterous round of rolling. That unit certainly should have broken and run away, but never mind, we'll still win in the end. My units here can't... Oh, you can just about reach them to flank them there. That's perfect. You can get it there and help me. Send your chariot in to break them. And we'll try and get this giant around here to... You can't go too close to your own allies, otherwise you're counting away. So you can use the X key to see if I can clearly see them and reach them. There's nothing stopping me, so perfect. And that's it, straight back to combat. Now, chariots, this is why chariots are a little bit difficult to use. After the charging turn, they lose all of those charge bonuses, so they become really quite bad. They're not exactly good after the charge, so I'm not expecting a whole lot here. 1 hit, doing no damage because they rolled a save, so I'm actually going to lose this combat likely. Yeah, I take 1 wound and lose, so I'm now going to have to roll my discipline check, which I fail and run away. That's fine, the giant can deal with them now. Right, let's try and do a better job against these swordsmen. The Minotaur Lord kills one. If you want combat to go faster, just hold the space key, just speeds them up. Yeah, I do lose one of the Minotaurs, we knew that was going to happen, but we kill so many of them that there's nothing they can do. They're all dead. Immediately flank that unit of archers so he can't shoot me. Enemies engaged in combat can't use their ranged output, so they're just going to have to stand there and suck it up. We'll try and rally our chariot. Nope. Gore Pelt there has had enough. The scary archers have shown them the door. And then, just in case this unit holds, I'll flank them inside next turn. Giant's turn. So the giant is 5 attacks with pretty poor skill, 3, so equal, so 4 plus. 3 times, but we're power 7 because we're colossal, so we squash 3 archers. They hit back once. Now, one of the benefits to flanking an enemy is that they don't get to use all of their attacks, rather only the two that are touching you or anyone in the flank that is able to make direct contact in the fight. So one attack each on archers, there's 2 of them there, so they get 2 rather than their 7. Now, our defense is 3 or more greater than the enemy power, so it works both ways. So when defense is overwhelmingly better than the power of the incoming attack, you save on a 2+, or anything but the roll of a 1 is fine. So yeah, even that dismal 2 we rolled means they can't wound the giant, and the archers have run. All enemy units dead or broken, the combat is over. So at the end of a battle you get a flat sum of gold, all of your units get a point of experience, and you're given a choice. You can either rest units to try and put them back, or to try and heal guys, or loot. So 4 or 5 wounds on a chariot is fine. Chariots don't lose combat effectiveness if they're being at 1 wound or being at 5 wounds is exactly the same thing for them, so we'll just take the gold as well as on the giant. And our Minotaurs here unfortunately did take a casualty. 1 Minotaur in the Lord isn't really quite enough, so it says 1 to 1, which means I'm guaranteed to get 1 back, so I'll put that back to its starting size. So pretty much as we were, but with more gold and experience. Roll straight into the second battle. So that'll be the one and only time I explain the kind of baseline mechanics. I won't hash over them again. We're going first. You roll a start. Each of us roll a dice to see who gets the first turn. It's me. Orc scouts will probably have, there'll be maybe a fast unit of boars or something, maybe a unit of archers. So I'm going to stick these on the flanks so that I can hopefully flank charge any annoying archer unit and immediately break them. And I'll have the bigger units here come careening down the middle. Maybe on that side like that. There's a unit of boar riders. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this unit first, because there's no way the enemy can interact with it, so I'll be safe to move to hit. The reason I'm moving so slowly through these woods is that the other effect that terrain has is it halves your movement, so it's very hard to push through them. I don't want to take the boar chariots head on, that would be somewhat silly, so I'm just going to get away from them if you don't mind. Just need to get away from this bit of terrain here, so I can twist around far enough to escape. No, a little bit further. A little bit further. I'm annoyingly going to have to get closer to them to do this, but I think I can still get away with it. So yeah, chariots are, the one upside to chariots are very manoeuvrable, pretty easy to get around. They're going to come forward. We don't care, because our objective is to eventually get these Minotaurs over here to flank this unit of boar riders. They can't reach us, which is fine. And I'll have the giant and this chariot round on the orc warriors. You want to kindly avoid the woods there so you can move properly. I could immediately charge with a giant on the flank, but I think I'll wait for the chariot to get into position to help me. Charge phase, there are none, don't worry about it. Here come the boar riders, they're being really aggressive. I think I can still just about get there, maybe the woods will slow me down. Let's activate this chariot, because I know for a fact I can get to this flank without them stopping me. So there you go, I can clearly see them, they can't see me, perfect. You're not going that way, which is good, because it may mean I can squeeze you to safety. I kind of thought that would happen. I can get there, but I can't both see them. So here's a clever... So I can stand here, of course, and I can get to the... When determining whether or not a charge is a front charge or a side charge, you have to hover over the enemy and you can see they're facing. So front, 2 flanks and a rear. To get the charge you want into the side you want, just make sure that your unit is... The majority of your unit is within a particular arc. So obviously the majority of my unit here is clearly in the side one and not the front one. But they can see me, so they'll be able to countercharge. That's not going to be a problem in this instance, and I'll show you why in a moment. You're coming here to threaten my giant. I don't particularly care. I'm just going to start getting the chariot around the long way. What I can probably do is I can just buy a turn with the giant. It's quite fast, so let's just stand here and wait for the chariot to get to their back. Yep. So the boar riders there, of course, declared a charge against us because we were within their blue zone and they could see us. The reason I'm unconcerned is because I can flank them. One of the many benefits to charging an enemy in the flank or rear is that it counts as an intercept charge, which in effect means that any charges the enemy are attempting to perform are cancelled. You cannot perform any charges when you're being intercepted. If they could see us, they could in theory countercharge, but I moved myself outside of range. And now that they've intercepted and they can't move and they can't charge anything, I can now flank them from this side as well. I'm not going to charge this yet because I'm high time for the chariot to get into a better position. When he comes, that's fine. I can easily get there now. Obviously, I'd love the rear charge if I can get there, but I don't quite have the movement, I don't think. Again, there's nothing really stopping me from just waiting another turn. I can get all the way over here and start twisting. Not there yet. It's the furthest I can go and still see them. A little bit further back, 0.8. There, I can see them now. Still definitely a side charge, I'm afraid. 0.9. There you go, I'll just leave it there. And then you, next turn I'm in their rear arc, so I'll position this in such a way that I can charge them in the side later on. Let's combat. So we flank them from both sides simultaneously, so this is going to be devastating for the poor Boar Riders. 2 hits, which is actually 4 hits because of the frenzy reroll. 4 wounds, ouch. Tore them apart, the Minotaur Lord. Chariot gets a single hit, that's why I don't like chariots, they're not particularly consistent. Boar Riders have 2 attacks each, so 1 back, dealing a wound, fine. And the 2 Minotaurs here, 7 hits, 3 wounds. So there's only a single Boar Rider left. Now they've lost combat by a horrendous amount. They have to roll -3 on 2 dice to hold, so they can't. And when an enemy unit breaks, when they've been surrounded from 2 sides, they don't get to run away, rather they just die on the spot. They're surrounded by enemies and are cut down to a man, or a pig if you will. Okay, you're prioritising this chariot, I don't particularly care, I'm just going to put them into their back now. I'll have you brace over here so you can flank charge them. I could send the Minotaurs over as well for when they get there later. Honestly, I would prefer that the chariot goes into the back and the giant goes into the side, but whatever. Suck it up. We'll have all day. So, can't see anything, so the other benefit to charging an enemy unit from 2 facing simultaneously is that they can't turn to face you. So even if they miraculously pass a morale check here and hold in combat, they're still not going to be allowed to turn around, so all they get is 3 attacks from this chariot every turn. Here we go again, so chariot hits 2, not great, but 6+ because power 7, defense 4, 3 difference. 1 hit back on us, they take a wound, oh well. And the giant, 2 hits, double 6, but neither orc dies from the giant's wounds. Amazing. So they pass their morale, they can't turn around, so they just stand there. Okay, let's charge. I'm not going to charge that because it would be a front and give them a load of damage onto my Minotaurs for no real reason. So I guess I'll start making you around there to hit the other side. They should eventually break here, they really shouldn't keep winning these combats. Yeah, the giant's dropped in power to 7 now, so they have a 5-up save. Okay, eventually you'll break. Orcs rolling really well. Noticing the AI are just in general rolling well throughout this campaign. Hopefully that stops shortly. Hopefully that's far enough to get them into their side arc. Need to be a bit further away from them, otherwise it will stop them from moving. There we go. Really, this is just an exercise in seeing how many wounds my chariot takes unnecessarily. None extra yet. And that now the giant starts hitting them. There we go. Roll a double 1 or break. There we go. Okay, so I took... Now this is the benefit to chariots. So you'll always heal at least 1 back for free. So with single entities, just as a bit of a balance thing, they always get at least 1 wound back free of charge. So that's fine, we don't need to do anything else. We've also amassed enough experience to start leveling our guys. So the raiding chariot is leveled up. Let's see what levels look like. Here's you get 3 options. Replenishment is whenever I heal, I get 50% more. So what I'm on 3 of right now, so I'd go up to like 4 to 5, but I really don't need any more replenishment chariots. Discipline is awful. The only reason you need discipline is if you're failing combat, losing and running away, so you need them for break tests. You don't really want to be playing the game in such a way that that's relevant, so no thanks, I'm just going to take Looter. Whenever I press the gold button, I get +5 more. The other chariot also leveled. No discipline, no replenishment, so we'll just go with Battle Hardened for an extra wound. And then the Feral Giant has also leveled up. Wounds, discipline, or replenishment. Again, none of those are particularly interesting, we'll just take the extra wound. Okay, and then everyone else is pretty much healthy to the point where I'm happy to leave them, so just take gold on everyone. Perfect. Yeah, as you were, into the 3rd battle. Let's generate as much gold as we can here for that row of shops that's about to come up. Goblin Raiders this time, so orcs, smaller brethren. I'm gonna position you up here, but maybe a bit further away from the walls so I can twist. Probably not going to be a lot of shooting, just get away from that, but you know, maybe something to be bothered with. And then you in the middle to distract things, 9 of 9 wounds, and you got the flank here. Goblin Wolf Riders, and a Goblin Mob. Okay, I'm going first, that's fine, I'll just move the giant, because I suppose I'll start moving you up this way so I can get you into the flank of those Wolf Riders. It won't happen this turn, and I'll make sure I'm far enough away from that Goblin Mob such that they can't reach me. And I'm hopeful that I need to be careful that I don't end up actually moving into its charge range. That'd be kind of annoying. So just about here-ish. I'm just trying to preempt it. Hopefully they move in such a way that I'm not visible there. Give that a go. They move an inch and do nothing, which is kind of annoying. Can I get past them with my fast movement? No, maybe because I'm touching the woods there. No, I can't quite make it. That's annoying. If I just come this way. No, maybe I could have pulled that off were it not for the woods, but I can't. So let's instead start delaying. I need to draw them away in at least one direction, thereby allowing me to flank them with the Minotaurs in the other. We're going to get to there, which I don't particularly care about. You just keep coming that way. Eventually I'll get someone around the side of this annoying unit. They stay where they are, which is good, so I can just pull you back. Now I'm hopeful to draw them quite far in so I can get the giant into a good position. Also, I want you to be able to later be able to spring onto the goblin mob, so let's position like that. So we can start thinking turns ahead in terms of our positioning. No charges yet. All set up, it's all preamble thus far. So they inch forward again, which is fine. Can I get... Still can't quite around. Oh no, I can get over there. That's not bad at all. So good, I'm going to do that because it will allow me to eventually outposition this unit. You just scurry forward, I don't care. Now you're going to have to make a choice. Either you stay here to engage them. Do this, yeah. Or you turn to face him. So we'll catch you with something eventually. Before they come, can I do exactly what I was hoping for? Yes, I can. You can reach their side. Perfect. So we no longer have to beat. They'll be intercepted so they can't charge us. Don't worry about that. And this unit, do I want to take on the goblin mob with just the chariot? It's quite a risk. Not exactly good at this. I think I'd rather wait until I get a rear charge so they can't hit me. Yep, so we'll send they're going to charge us, but again we flank them, so intercept, dead charge. I could just flank them now. Oh god, they're just goblins, they're pretty squishy. Surely you can break them. If not, I'll have someone come here and help. You're going to turn that way, which is good news for me because it means I can put the Minotaur unit onto your side. I can have you help with this in case they hold on. So if they turn and face, they'll be facing that way, so I can charge them in the back. So moves Boss Savage, 5 attacks. 1 hit, oh dear. It's like relatively low attacks and not great skill. They don't hit at all. So they've got bad discipline, so even with that poor showing they might still run, and they do. Straight off the board. Goblins can be relied upon to fail a morale check if you beat them in combat, they're really not that brave. 2 dead goblins. 2 hits from their heading back. I take a wound, oh well. Lose by 2. They do have a couple ranks here which might save them. No, they still break. Terrible. I'll just intercept them there as well. And then this unit, I guess, will just ignore it for a turn. Well, I like to charge it because I suppose in theory, if I break it now, I can do it so that if both these units break, the combat just immediately comes to an end. Try and position you in such a way that you can get around there and hit them in the side if they're holding on. You're not going to get there to help, I'm afraid. Yep, Minotaurs are going to have no problem with this. 5 of 5 hits for a Lord, doing 4 wounds. 6 hits, another 4 wounds. Unless I take all 3 wounds on a Minotaur and lose 1, we won't actually lose 1. For, like, wholly, you have to lose all 3 wounds. And here, much better. 5 hits and then 6s, killing 5 of them instantly. Chariots are very swingy, they can roll really well and do catastrophic damage or just bounce off. The unreliability is a little bit irksome for me, but it can be great, as we see there. More experience again. We've leveled up our Minotaur Lord and Bog Standard, so let's see, we get extra attack. I'll just take that out of hand, there's no reason not to. So coin counter is plus 5% more to this gold sum, really not worth a whole lot, and extra wounds. Wounds on characters doesn't particularly matter because they would only come up if every single member of the unit is dead because all of their wounds go first, or in theory if you entered a duel with an enemy character. So if you engage a unit that has another character in it, your character and their character will face off against one another, in which case their individual stat line will matter. The Minotaur Lord, however, as I understand it, is I think the only character in the game that starts with 4 wounds, so he realistically just beats every other character in a straight fight pretty much no problem. He's the ultimate single individual combatant. And the Minotaur's leveled. Unit size for an extra 1, or wounds so I don't lose them. Unit size for the damage is nice, but I've already got 3, and the furthest you can stretch a Minotaur unit is 4 across before they start filling in the back, which is pointless. So when this unit gets up to full strength and has 3, we'll have the Lord and 3 of them for 4, which is pretty much already maxed out. Having an extra one at the back is, you get a single attack from a back rank, it's pretty pants, so I'm just going to make them more tougher. Otherwise, yeah, that's perfectly good. We could take the extra Minotaur, but they're more than potent enough to be seen with the 3 of them, so we don't, it's kind of diminishing returns there going anymore. As we planned, we're coming in this direction, so get to this shop and then start making our way through there. No single entity, I'm afraid, so we'll try and stick to the monsters in theory. So I guess the harpies are the most monster-esque of our unit choices. Maybe the dogs. The dogs are obviously harder to use, they're not as good as the harpies, but I think they're more in the spirit of things. Not the centaurs, they're cavalry. Yeah, we'll go with the hounds, we'll go with our monster ideal. So we got, and then 198 gold left over for upgrades. Heart Seeker for the Minotaur Lord, it's pretty good, it improves the hit roll. I think I have to buy armor plating on my poor chariots because they're just so fragile. And then we have, the Giant can do some really good upgrades. So, Putrid Stench, opponents reroll hits in combat, so whenever someone tries to hit him, if they succeed, they then have to roll the dice again, so they do almost nothing. I'd love Heart Seeker, but I think that's more important, so making the Giant tough, and then start buying armor for these. Yeah, so that's how I'll do it. The chariots do really need a bit of help for the... I'm not going to buy the extra power for the chariots because 7 is already good enough, but there you go, we're going to stick with our monster theme as far as we're able to. Kind of show that. Let's have a look at the random event. Holy Gift, that's incredible. Okay, so Holy Gift is select any unit, and you'll be able to grant that unit either heal them to full, which is terrible, I don't know why you'd ever do that, or allow them to re-roll all of their saving throws. So make them, in effect, borderline invincible. Now, in terms of we'd either want to do it on the Minotaurs or the Giant. Now, I'm going to and over this a little bit. So the Giant is defense 6. Enemy has to re-roll their attacks, and that now he gets to re-roll his saves. Basically, Savage Spitter would be invincible at that point, and we never really have to worry about losing him ever. Whereas if we went with, say, Muddick Stone Axes, the Minotaurs, they have 4 wounds now, defense 4, and re-rolling saves. Be pretty good on them. It would mean I'm very unlikely to ever lose a guy. But at 4 wounds each, they're tough enough such that I'm not concerned. So I'm gonna make an invincible giant. There you go. It's a monster run. I want a divinely protected feral giant. It's in the spirit of things. I just imagine a little halo over South. Well, it'd be a colossal halo, wouldn't it? About the size of one of the concentric rings of an oak tree. I'm gonna show off our new fancy divine giant against the elf patrol. Okay, so again, I've got some hounds as well, which is nice. Another kind of distraction piece to the side. Not amazing damage output, but I guess they can help. This will be 3 fast units, probably 1 here and 2 there, so I'd love to put the Minotaurs into the flank of something, so let's have you distract what's over here by be kind of further back, because it makes it easier to draw them in, if we kind of do it like this. Yeah, so I'm at 2 on that side, 1 on that side, 5. So they'll come barreling forward and I can hit them in the side, as will these. So I just delay a bit by moving the dogs around, just force the enemy to move, like that. You're coming this way, interesting. And they do have ranged options, so they get little bows and arrows, the Reavers. They do no damage. It's not a great ranged option, admittedly. So you're going to come over here, and you, I guess, are going to come to there. I'm going to have a chariot versus chariot battle, just smash into each other. Unfortunately, the elf chariot is just flatly better than ours. There's no way around it. Me buying armor actually just makes us equal in armor, both defense 5, but they still have better skill. But I have more power base. Interesting. It's not going to matter with all the bonuses we get. Pretty much trade. So they're going to, I presume, come forward here. So I'm going to hope that happens, and I'm going to try and be clever and out-position them in advance. So if I do this, I need to make sure I'm touching the woods, otherwise I won't be able to see them. But I think that'll do. Hopefully they come forward here and allow me to hit them in the side. Yes, that's exactly what happened. So they're there. They're now reachable for my giant. Perfect. We can now ignore them. Have you start coming over here. Good, now I know that that's landed, so I can get around that as well. Can I get far enough forward to kind of beat its charge radius? I can. Can't quite charge it if I do that, though. How far do I have to go? 4 point... Yeah, I'm never going to be able to quite get there, and still... Maybe if I skirt the edge here as tight as I can. I can. Look, I made it so that I'm outside of their range, and I can see them to flank them. Perfect. Let's use that with... I'm Not quite going to be able to flank these, am I? I've got a bit too much movement. I could front charge them, I suppose. I've got all of my wounds. So I've got 4 wounds each. Are they likely to kill one of my Minotaurs if I charge them? They get 10 attacks with equal skills, so they get 5 hits. And defense for their power 3, I get a 3-up save. Incredibly unlikely for me to lose a Minotaur in combat with them. So if I stand in such a way that I can see them and they can't see me like that, I can take a front charge and I should be able to just pummel them. Like that. Turn 2. Oh, it's going to be a quick one. So into the side, straight down the middle. So yeah, the effect of terrain there, you can see into terrain but not beyond it for the purposes of declaring a charge. So I could just about catch them in the corner there, whereas they couldn't see me. So there you go, we beat them to the punch there. We are beasts, we are at one with the woods. They serve us, not you. So who's going to be likely to need a bit of help here? Not the Minotaurs, not you, almost certainly you. So I'll start moving you around to get help with that. And I guess the dogs can go the other way. See some combat. So still pretty dismal damage output, I'm afraid. I mean, it's power 7, isn't it? So it's not bad. 3 wounds, but yeah, we're almost invincible. So they hit twice, which is actually 0 times because they have to reroll their successes now. So they do nothing. They still hold because elves, they have remarkable discipline and they've got a lot of them, so it's going to take a while to chew through. This I'm hoping goes well because I'm not going to do well after this. 2 wounds. They get to attack back with, you know, paltry non-chariot charge. They still do a wound to me. Come on. They run away though. So he healed 1 wound back for free, so he's basically taking no damage. Up attacked Minotaur Lord. Gets 6 of 6 hits, great. Killing 2 of them outright. They have 2 wounds each, so he does 4, which is 2, 4, so 2 their reavers. And his accompanying friends do an extra wound. I don't lose a Minotaur, which we gamed out correctly. And they break. Send in the dogs. And I can't actually charge any of these, so we'll just move up behind them. Yeah, so that unit has rallied, no problem. There's a solution for that. I'm going to put some bovine behemoths straight into their back. You start coming around here to catch this unit. And I can't just, well, we might as well recharge those as well. Well, they'll probably be a bit clever. So it's going to try and run somewhere, probably that way. So I guess I should do this. I don't know if I quite caught it, we'll see. If I preempted it good enough. 2 wounds, now they get to hit me, 11 attacks, 4 hits, but then I get my... so they're only power 3, so I get a 2-up save and I get to reroll. So the only way I take a wound is if I roll a 1 twice. There you go. Basically, there's only a 1 in 36 chance of me ever taking a wound once it goes through, when it's a 2-up save. The dogs chew off another bunch of wounds, great for combat res, and I know they're safe because all their attacks are going to the front unit. They've had enough. Oh, they ran clear. I didn't think they'd go that far. Well, they really wanted to leave. I could recharge those. It's not the best unit for it, so I'll wait for something more potent to get up there. Yes, they rally. Of course they do. It's not surprising. Giant, come up here and smack them. Start having you eventually get up into their side again. But you can also help in that regard. Minotaurs. Cows eat horses as it transpires. They can't attack. Flanking is obviously better than a rear charge, is better than a flank charge, and that they don't even get the minimal attack from the side, right? They get absolutely nothing at all. They can't attack backwards to defend themselves. There's 1 Reaver left. I mean, in theory, if he hits twice and wounds twice, he might be able to somehow kill a Minotaur, but let's see what he can do. Rather unlikely, let's be honest. I say that as if I haven't just jinxed it. Go on. Don't you dare. He's dead, obviously. And then does he kill me? No hits. There you go, we're fine. Over here, the giant stamps on a lancer. They hold because they've got great discipline. It's, again, not going to matter. So interesting, the game doesn't say they're routing, it says wavering, but they still give up. Just, the enemy's morale has dropped to a point where they're not willing to fight anymore. Free heal, full XP. Well, apart from them, but you know what I mean. Do I want the extra 1 back? No, it's really, we don't need the extra strength. We can cut through anything with our basic 3 guys, no problem. So, to here. More orcs. We are the stronger beasts. You strange mushroom creatures that orcs are. Definitely not a Warhammer player, can't you tell? Yeah, so Orc Raiders, so they're probably something fast. So again, I'd like the potent things to be in the middle, because these units on the side can distract them when I put these into their flanks to really hit them. So like this way around, and then the dogs can be here to sort of, I'll send you in either direction to help out, whoever needs to help, I suppose. Put these further back because it helps lure the enemy in. So, oh no, it's all infantry. Infantry block, infantry block, infantry block, infantry block. So, okay, we're obviously going to try and flank them to the best of our ability. Can't quite get... Well, I can actually do it this turn if I wanted. Don't know if that'll count. I'll just leave myself there and I can move further later. I'm going to start making your way around this way to get around them. Stuck behind your own guys, it's not particularly worrying. I'll beeline you over this way to hopefully flank something eventually, and you can also flank something, I suspect. Stand up here. Dogs, get in the way. You don't want the poor feral hounds here to engage in direct combat because they're very fragile. Defense 3, 1 wound. But they've got decent damage output for 2 attacks each, so try and get them into the flanks and rear as you can. Well, I suppose that's a principle of all melee combatants, isn't it? You want to flank charge, but specifically with dogs, they really benefit. You're not being reached by that, but you're not going to be able to flank them because they're going to be in the way. So I'd really like to see where they move to first. So let's just move you backwards for now. Could start forcing the enemy to move, which reveals what I can do. So that's a free flank for you. Yep, take it. No way I can get any further up there, so that'll do. Okay, I know where that's landed now, so I can out-position it accordingly. Move rocks in the way. Yep. What I'd like to do, of course, is get down here such that I can escape their zones, but still see. There you go. I can see you to. It's hard to see on the white on blue, but it stops here like that. So I'm outside. I'm safe. They can't reach me, and I can hit them in the side. Perfect. You're after my chariot, which is not a problem because I can just do this. That's a free flank on that big block, which is great news for me. And I was trying to get the chariot over here. Now the problem is I can't really do this because, yeah, that works, but I won't be able to legally declare this charge because you have to be able to draw a straight line from the center of your unit to the center that you're charging. So from there to there, obviously my chariot would be dead in the way, so that's awful. So I'm going to have to start moving around this way. I'll spend the turn positioning so I can get around them next turn. Here we go. So flank, flank, flank. So this time I'm concerned with because the feral giant's invincible now. That should be fine. Just the chariot that might not break them. So in case the chariot doesn't succeed, we put the dogs over here to lend a hand. They'll turn and face it that way, so you will be stood here. And then that unit might hold on against the giant, so let's have you come over here to hit them. Only 2 hits yet, just oh so inconsistent. We take 2 wounds back as well, so we barely even win the combat. Yeah, and if you didn't take 2 wounds, you would have broken them there, but never mind. 3 wounds to the giant. They hit twice, 3 up save, take no damage. And they break. Minotaur Lord hits 6 of 6 times. Have a good save though. Yeah, they're doing pretty well on saves. They do 1 wound, not too big a deal. I see no reason to relent, so we're just going to keep hitting them. I'm not going to put him into the side because he might take unnecessary damage, but I'm definitely going to do this here. I think I can use you to distract these Orc Warriors. Annoyingly, that chariot might just outright die against those brutes. Quite potent. Let's have you come up here and just sort of stare at them menacingly. See how bad the damage is over here. Okay, they hit terribly, so we kind of got away with it. We do just about win again. They do break this time. The Minotaur Lord, because it's a fresh combat, they get all their frenzy rerolls again. Kill a whole bunch of Orc Warriors. -2. Yep, that's an easy to roll value on 2 dice. Giant does great. Just step on 2 of them. Just keep at it. No reason to relent. That's obviously pointless. I'm going to wait and see if they run away on their own. They might not rally. If they do rally, then fine, I'll recharge them. We just keep skirting around this unit. I don't see any point in engaging it, really. They don't rally. Good, we can ignore them for now. What I might be able to do is get you into the back of that unit. Not quite this turn, but next turn. So they'll obviously continue running in that direction. So I'll get you up there. I'll put you behind there as well so you can help out with other stuff later. They're running that way. Okay. These will all be dead this turn. I boldly proclaim the consistency of the Minotaurs is such that you can be very safe in figuring out whether or not something's going to survive. The high number of attacks and more importantly the rerolls they get are just amazing. Keep killing them. Yeah, ignore those. It's around on this unit of Hawk Warriors. Coming up there, they may rally, in which case, who would be better at hitting them? This or this? I don't really know. Get you down there so you can flank the next turn. They do rally this turn, so I need to do something about that. 10 attacks with the dogs at power 5, or 6 attacks with you. So you can do, this little exercise, we can do some mathematics in our head, so you can calculate average rolling. So 10 attacks from the hounds at skill 3 against their skill 3, so 4 plus exactly, so you get an average of 5 hits. If we power 5 on the charge against the enemy's defense of 5, we get an average of 2.5 wounds. So if the chariot went in, it would go up to 6 attacks at power 7, which means that again it only get 3 hits, and then of those 3 hits, we'll have a 5 up save because it's power 7, so they'd save a third. So they'd take 2 wounds on average. So yeah, it's better to send the dogs into their back rather than the chariot. So if you race over here, go hit these in the spine. I can kind of... There's a good way of using chariots here. If you use them in tandem like this, they can actually be potent enough to do consistent damage. Individually they're hit and miss, but once you've got 2 of them in a combat, that's usually enough to deal with whatever you're fighting. Run them down, dogs. I'm going to double charge that. If the chariots insist on proving you wrong and somehow flub this, I'll move you into the flank. That's it. 3 hits below average and they roll. But okay, that's not good. They still break their poor discipline. Scary dogs engaged you in the rear. Must run away. Yeah. Can't roll a -1. Got him. Orcs defeated. That chariot is now taking enough of a kicking. I think I'll put the wounds back on it. But first we level. So chariot levels again. Interesting. Right, so the wound is a wound. Going from wounds 5 to wound 6 isn't particularly great, but so the choice is between either demonic gift, so a random stat can be added to all these, or an extra attack. Now the extra, what would we want from demonic gift that could in theory be better than the attack? Well, the skill would be good if we encountered anything that's skill 3, because if we're up to skill 4, being a skill higher than the enemy nets more damage than having 1 extra attack, so that's good. Extra power would be, I guess, have some niche value, because you could in theory you'd be what, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the charge, you got up to 8 on the charge, and 5 permanently. Being 5 permanently is nice for stagnant combat, so if you end up fighting in subsequent turns, just being power 5, at least it means you're still kind of a threat, so it's nice in that regard. And being power 8 on the charge, it means I probably don't have to bother buying... Well, if I could do that and then buy the power upgrade, I got up to 9, which means that even defense 6 monsters only get to save on 6+, so it would make it an effective anti-elite unit, so that's not bad. Defense, I think, would actually be quietly the best one. Being defense 6 is incredible. You could get the attack, which is the same, and then wounds is meh, and then discipline's terrible. So 1 terrible, 1 that's worse, and then a set of values that I think would be better. So yeah, I'm going to go try the demonic gift. Attacks, fine. It came out as exactly the same thing. That means I can take the extra attacks later and have even more. Great. That chariot leveled. Same sort of equation, but with skill this time. And again, I think I would prefer to try rolling the dice with demonic gift. Oh, that's not good. 7 wounds on the chariot doesn't make much of a difference. Oh, well. The hound's leveled. More skill, so they hit more consistently. I mean, yeah, why not? There you go, some elite hounds. And the giant leveled again. Extra attack, fantastic. Just, I'd like that, and I'd like an extra point of skill whenever I can get it, so we can actually hit things. Otherwise, yeah, you're now 7 wounds, so I'll give you all 7 of 7, and everyone else can take cash. Perfect, so we're going to go into an elite, which is well timed, because we're just about to try the shot. One Platin, so if I'm facing humans, we're going first against the humans. They'll have some sort of cavalry, some sort of ranged option, and probably a load of melee infantry blocks. So I'd love to put these onto them immediately so I can hit them in the side with these chariots. You might end up taking some damage for your trouble on the way in, but that's fine. And then you can be here to flank whatever there's that irritating infantry in the centre. Stand in the middle like that. Yeah, largely what you think. So knights, infantry, and handgunners, you can get to the side of those no problem. So let's start thinking, well, they're going to come up here. I'd like, if I could, get the giant into their side. Let's see if I can move preemptively to get there, assuming that they're going to come barreling forward to the best of their ability. They're shooting the chariot. They rolled incredibly well, which is quite annoying, resulting in me taking 2 wounds. That's fine. Guess I'm now free to do this. They've already blown their attack, so there you go. Take your side charge. Ah, no, they just inched forward. Okay, fine. Can't stop the chariot from charging in the side then. You're going after my poor chariot there. That's very annoying. Can I catch you with the Minotaurs? I can, so I can put a stop to that there, but I want to see where that unit moves first. It moves to there. It doesn't quite reach anything, which is good, so upgrade the Minotaurs to flank them. Perfect. They can't stop the chariot because I can stick them in place. They're going to charge me there. Absolutely not. And they're going to charge me there. Absolutely not. And now you're free to hit them. That's everything engaged except the halberdiers, which is good. Yeah. Now I don't think the chariot can actually beat the Imperial Knights in the fight, so I'm going to have to send some sort of support over there. Von Platin's used Inspire Valor, so +1 combat score for all these combats. I'm going to have to move a unit first. I really don't want the giant engaging the halberdiers. That's because this is the one unit that's actually a genuine threat to him. They don't get any extra power or attacks on the charge or anything like that. Rather, halberds have the special ability to reduce the enemy save to never being any better than a 4+. So we normally be saving on 2+, where defense is 3 better than their power. But no, it'll be reduced all the way down to 4 because of the special property of the halberds. So even with our 4 re-rolling, we would take some wounds. So no thank you. Let's start. I'd like the hounds or someone to get over there, so maybe I can just distract you with the hounds. These here, sort of. Just going to come forward. Fine, I'm just going to ignore you. Just do that. Completely free and clear. If they turn and face the chariot, I can then back charge them, which is good. Okay, so the chariot does rather well. There's 4 wounds. Takes 1 in exchange, that's fine. And we get lucky and they break. Fantastic. Perfect start. Over here, we've entered a duel. So as I was mentioning, the 2 characters are facing off in direct combat. So Hudik Ironfair and Von Platen. We have equal skills, so 4s, but I get to reroll, which is great because I only hit once. And then I've got better power. Takes 4 wounds and dies. So Von Platen's already dead. They hit me once. They don't wound me, which is annoying. Actually, I would have liked for her to do a wound, and I'll explain why in a moment. Minotaurs chew a bunch. Take no damage back. Win by 9. Broken. Okay, instantly kills 6. Takes a wound, that's irritating. They also break. I just have you continue killing them, I guess. And then I'm not going to charge that yet, because I'm rather... Well, they may just run away and it can probably get a rear charge onto those if I hold off for a second. They're facing that way, so I saw that coming. You can come here and hit them in the back. They do rally. It's also reasonable. What I'd like to do, therefore, is get you into their side. Not quite managed this turn, annoyingly. You can only engage from 1 facing at a time, so if I come all the way up here and try and... Yeah, that's still a rear charge. I want to put the giant into their back, which means you're not going to be able to hit them in the side arc, I'm afraid. I can't get far enough. simply not possible. Okay, so in that case I'll just have you move up here to preempt, do it next turn. I'll have you move there and just hit them in the side, back like that. Hit some straightforward combats, hold the spacebar, kill 3 more handgunners, running again. The Minotaurs, yes, the Blood Fury ability. Shoot a whole bunch of swords from the part. You don't eat steak, the steak eats you. Did. All characters in the game come with their own special property. They haven't been able to show it off because, in order to compensate for the, frankly, incredible damage output that the Minotaur Lord has to offer beyond any other character in the game, he has one of the hardest to use, most niche abilities of anyone, the Blood Fury. So, +2 attacks this turn. It's incredible, it's amazing, but only when you've been wounded. So the only way I get him wounded is if I intentionally throw him into a duel with an enemy character, or his entire unit's dead, and then I get to proc the ability. It's an amazing ability because it applies to both him and his compatriots, so anyone in his unit also gets the benefit, so just viciously overpowered. But appropriately difficult to execute in recompense. I'm going to start stamping on knights again. We don't get to hit back. Good break. And annoyingly, I'm not going to be able to charge that handgunner. You're in the way. So I think you're all full wounds, aren't you? So even if they get all 3 hits and all 3 wounds, they won't bother you. That's okay. Charge. That one handgunner rallies at the bravest handgun in the world. You just stick on the knights, no reason to third up on them. They're still running, so I'll just allow the one unit here who's been doing all the damage to, you can finish them. Let's be consistent. In the case, by some twisted miracle, this unit of halberdiers holds, I'll move the hounds to get them to their back arc next turn. Off they go. 5 of 6 hits from the Lord, killing 4 of them. Minotaurs kill another 4. 1 hit, dealing 1 wound, 4 up save, so yeah, that's that halberdier kicking in. Power 3 against defense 4 should be a 3 up save, it's 4 up instead. They're broken, so I mean, I'm going to charge this because in theory this handgunner could turn around and shoot me, so that denies any chance of them doing damage, and then we could just skip the rest because it's already over. Once it turns to routing this turn, the enemy's given up, so you can just skip everything. Hold the spacebar, yeah, very dead. Run over by goats. It's clearly goats there, but the images of pigs. Slight inconsistency in art direction there. More than healthy for all our units. The Minotaur Lord leveled again. I'm not particularly fussed about that at all, but we can take Recruiter, so when we buy a new unit, that unit instantly comes with a level. So yeah, SOVL significantly rewards experience. They represent marked increases in unit effectiveness, so giving units levels on buy is pretty incredible. And we're just about to go into shop, so well timed. Here, I think this is a no-brainer. I take the extra attacks. Yeah, so 5 attacks each, and then yeah, maybe the wounds later. Everyone is healthy enough. I could take the extra Minotaur now that we're going into like the boss. I think so. We'll try that, and then we won't lose it. We'll give up the gold just once. We'll see if this costs me, if there's something I desperately want to buy here, and I'm like 9 gold short if I did something daft. I get more Minotaurs, which is cool. We can stick to our monster theme, and they're cheap, so excellent work. They immediately get a level. Could increase the unit size, which I will do. I won't be able to benefit from it immediately, but it'll be useful later. Leaving me with 188. So I can spend 50 on Mudik, 138. That's 80 on these. 100. I can't quite get everything I want, but close. You buy heavy armor for the Minotaurs. I didn't think so. It makes them what? Defense 5, which is pretty good. But honestly, the loss of movement is probably worth enough that I don't want to exchange the movement for them. I like the fact that they can move this quickly. So, and having 4 wounds at defense 4 is enough to pretty much keep a guy intact as long as you're not charging in the front. So, yeah, let's leave the heavy armor at home rather. Do you really need True Strike? He's hitting and killing almost everything he comes across anyway. So I think I would prefer. Or no, I'm not going to take Boulder Throw. This is an all melee run, so Boulder Throw is a fantastic ability. You could pick that up and smash guys with rocks if you wanted. That's pretty great, but we'll leave that rather. We'll go melee, so increasing the power of our chariots from the charge, and then True Strike for you. So hits. I don't need the failed damage saves. Heavy armor for the Lord. I guess if I get stuck in a duel we could, but it's pretty much just a waste. He's going to win any duel he gets into anyway, so let's just conserve the 58 gold we have left. I don't think there's any value in throwing it away. Face a bandit gang. You first, so another unit of Minotaurs there, which is good. You down the flank, and then you can kind of get away from the edge so you can get round. And you, same principle. And we have a lot of monsters here to play with, so monsters in all shapes and sizes, big, small, and canid. Yeah. Right, so again you're going to get stuck facing those directly. Hopefully I can get someone around to hit those wretched handgunners. I'm not going to be able to do this too effectively, so I'm just going to have you rocket up here. Maybe drag a unit this way. Someone will eventually flank something. You come this way so you can get around them over here. Yeah, you can easily get around this. They're going to come, they're going to shoot you. I can't save, I'm just going to heal this one at the end of the battle anyway. I'm committed to that at this point. They're going to come forward only a tiny bit there, so it's going to be hard to flank them properly. Yeah, I didn't think so. Rude to me, annoying. I could flank them with the dogs. Not a terrible idea. Now have you reach. I might be able to have you stand there and the next turn have them race across to hit the handgunners. Go on then. They're trying to shoot the giant, which is fantastic because it's the most durable thing I have. It can chin the damage no problem. And then here, let's have the dogs move into their side. Perfect. What am I going to do with you becomes the question. Can I get there to... Ooh, this is going to be very precise. Can I get there, do you think, to side charge these? So if they'll hover over them, I can clearly rear them, and can I draw a straight line from there to there? Yes, so I can reach them to charge. And there's nothing that can stop me. They'll be locked in place, so don't worry about those. Perfect. They're going to charge me first. Intercepted. Which now leaves you free to do this. Now, the charge orders you move in, so obviously the dogs will move first, which makes you think, well, that's going to block the charge. No, it won't. Once you've declared it, the line stuff only counts for when you're in place at this point. After they're declared, you're allowed to, as you're about to see, fly through units to get there. Forward they come. That's an easy flank. Thanks, guys. So that one comes. Again, you're making this pretty trivial for me, let's be honest. I guess you could try come over here. Not going to quite reach the back this turn. And you've got nothing to do because these guys have all stood directly in front of you. So, and I'll just wait here until someone turns around, I guess. The dogs have better skill than the light cavalry, which is embarrassing for them, but never mind. I do lose a dog, they're only 1 wound each. They frustratingly hold, so this is going to go quite poorly for them now. Guess we're healing the dogs. This is 6 of 6 kills, the chariot just splatters them. I'm going to have you turn and help deal with this. No way, Jose. So I could do that. I would rather just send them into the front. Just ignore the handgunners for now. Maybe they'll run away and I don't have to do anything about them. Yeah, they run. They'll leave of their own accord. Perfect. Turn here. If I'm greedy, I might be able to try and get in the rear arc. Like so. So that's a good idea because if they break and run, I won't be there to be charged. And then if these turn and hold, one can flank them from this side and one can flank them from the other. Not that I expect them to do particularly well against Minotaurs. Oh wow, the dogs went absolutely nuts. They just slaughtered them. Never mind, dogs, I've underestimated you. Dogs eat horses, cows eat horses. Everything eats horses, as it transpires. The taste of delicious horse meat cannot be resisted. Here, the Minotaurs do rather well. No Lord in this one though, so not quite as potent, but still a win. And they're broken. Piece of cake. A piece of horse, in fact, as it goes. Okay, great. The dogs need a slight patch up. 3 dogs isn't combat viable, but and I'll give you extra Minotaur, and everyone else can just take gold. Great, so there's our pretty much that's our full size army now. I don't want to go beyond. Once you go to a 5th Minotaur, he gets stuck in the back, which is no. I think Maybe you could have a fifth one there, but at that point it becomes so long that it's pretty difficult to maneuver around and flank things. So I think 4 is a sweet spot where that's more than enough damage to hack through basically anything in the game, especially once you start leveling them. And you don't, but you can still maneuver around and get into the flanks and rears as you want. So the perfect kind of compromise there. We'll go straight into the Act 1 boss. We'll clean through the entirety of Act 1 here and now. IS is going first. They're going to have some annoying range stuff. I guess I would like the giant to chin any of their damage if I had an option. But you'll probably be the chariots will be the primary target because they're further ahead of everything. But well, stand there. You in front to get shot by things for me. Probably swap those around because obviously I need the stronger unit coming down this way. Right, so let's see. They've got shooting in the form of watchers and watchers. No artillery pieces though, so not as bad as I thought it would be. So how fast can I get onto those watchers with something? Let's try and make it such that you're being shot by those archers, so because you can handle it better than anyone else. That doesn't bother me at all. In fact, it tells me exactly what I can move around, so I'm just going to start moving you around here. Next turn we'll go around that way. That doesn't matter at all. I could put dogs into the flank of one of these units. They won't achieve a whole lot, I'll be honest. I'd like for the chariot to flank their chariot, so I can just start moving this one this way. Maybe eventually get around there with Noble. No, okay. That's rather annoying, actually, what you've done there. Can't escape that way, and I can't. We have the exact same movement. In fact, mine might be worse. So, okay, we'll just have a chariot versus chariot battle. Ridiculous as it is. I'm shooting the giant, which saves on 2s rerolling, so no double 1s, please. Yeah, piece of cake. Over here, okay. Obviously, we'd love to start getting you around to start flanking these. My movement's pretty good. Can I finagle this such that I can... I can't quite reach that unit this turn. No, next turn. And annoyingly, that isn't safe from them hitting me. I'm going to be shot to death if I stand there. I think the dogs are going to prevent me from actually standing from where I need to be safe. I need to be about there, but the dogs are too close. I say that, but they can just move anyway, so they're going to end up shooting you regardless. I guess I'll just chill out on this side of the wall for this turn, and then spring forward next turn. No, they're just going to move and angle me anyway, I couldn't stop it. Fine, do your wound. I need to spare. How far can I go with these dogs? Not quite far enough because of the blast of the wood slowing me down. Guess I could just take a flank charge in this spearman and see if I can break them. If it wasn't for that woods, maybe I'd have enough movement to reach them. I can reach them, but unfortunately I'm going to get charged, which means I can't actually execute the charge. Just stand there and get on the next turn. Ridiculous farcical combat, 2 chariots just smashing directly into one another. Do I want to do this? I guess that's a good idea, because otherwise if I don't, what's going to happen is the watchers are just going to shoot the hounds anyway and pretty much wipe the unit out. They're perfect shot fodder with defense 3, 1 wound each. Move to there. I'd love for you to race straight beyond this unit, perfect, and then charge either of those as you see fit. Doesn't particularly concern me, so I'm going to move you over here. Go hit those archers in the flank. Don't know if that's quite a flank, let's move a bit further up here to be sure. There we go, that's good. I get shot by those. 2's re-rolling. Okay, I rolled a bunch of 1s, but turn is only 1-1, which is far more livable. Can I get into the flank of that unit? Maybe. I don't know, even at my speed I might struggle. No, I can't quite do it. I get to about here. I can see them. It's definitely majority front, so no, not that direction. What if I tried the other way? No, not quite that way either. If I just stand here, it's not a great idea, I need to get moving. Try that, see if I can get around something. You're going to shoot the chariot this turn. You're not going to kill it in a turn, so I'm definitely going to get to you. What can I do with this unit? I can run straight past the spearmen. I'm hoping to eventually outflank them with something. I don't really want to take them head on, that's a bit daft considering the number of attacks they get. Although I've got 4 wounds each, well, 3 wounds. Skill 4, equal skill. The issue with charging spearmen is that they get to fight in 3 ranks, so I'd get 15 attacks. So you get 7.5 hits, power 3, defense 4. I take a third of that in wounds, 6 at 2, so 7 is 2.33, half 2. Plus 1.666 for 2.5 wounds, give or take. Yeah, it's maybe enough to kill a guy, so let's try getting around them. Here we go, this ridiculous combat. They hit me a bunch of times annoyingly. I take 2 wounds, which isn't bad. I have more attacks than them and better power, but I somehow end up doing worse. Of course I do. At least I hold. But now we're stuck here forever. Dogs, hit perfectly averagely. Don't lose 1 in exchange, great. Break. You've been dogged. Let's kill their annoying backline now. Pushed through onto them, they couldn't stop us. I can't quite engage that one, so don't worry. You could recharge those. I won't bother. I'd rather see if they run away of their own accord. So their archer's dead. You're still intimidating. You still want to go after my Minotaurs here. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get around them, annoyingly. And it's a very potent unit in direct combat, the Elf Noble and his Weapon Masters, so much so I might actually lose that. Well, I'll kill their one in straight battle, no problem, so the duel will go my way. But then they get 1 attack each, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. With superior skill to my Minotaur, so they hit on 3+. And with the Elven Mastery ability there, they get to reroll hits as well. So 3's rerolling, they get 88% of their hits through. With 11, they get like 9 hits. Power 4. We'll be down to power 4 if I don't let them charge, so I take about 4 to 5 wounds. It's pretty bad. I'll lose a Minotaur, which I don't want to do. And there's no... Oh, what am I talking about? There's no Lord in this one. The Lord's over there. So no, I'm definitely not engaging this in combat. I'll just keep moving around until I hit you in the back. You've moved to a perfect position to allow me to recharge the unit. That's great. Very much appreciated. They come back, so send the dogs in again. That's all she wrote. Welcome to the forever box. Draw. Chariots without the charges don't do anything. They do more damage in combat than they do shooting at me. Okay, that's how archer units are supposed to work. Here, stamp on a couple of them. They're forced to reroll, and then I get to reroll. You do nothing. Even with their great discipline, they still run away. It's a dead unit of spearmen, and maybe you can break the spearmen. It's questionable. Someone will be able to outposition this noble unit now. Still going after them. I don't particularly care anymore because I've gotten into your... I don't know if that's back arc. Let's try and go this further this way to guarantee it. No, it definitely isn't. I can still see them. Good. And because they're engaged in the back, I should be able to get... They'll still see me, of course, but I can get myself majority side so I can break them that way. Yeah. No damage again. Hilarious. We might actually just die there. No, just about held on versus the Watchers. But I'm okay with it because I know this unit's going to break and then I can... Wow, you didn't reroll a single one into a conversion. Never mind, we've got... This is why it ups the unit size in case we get amazingly unlucky. We still auto-win. And now you can help with that. Dogs don't hit very well, but they save terribly. Breaking them perfect. And they're off. Right, lend this dopey chariot a hand. You intercept them in the rear, thereby allowing you to flank them. That's everything. It's maybe a bit of overcommitment into this, I'll be honest. They haven't moved yet, so I can just pass. They rally, good to know. So I'll use the dogs to come over here and try and recharge them. Don't know if I can fit there, we'll give it a go. 1 hit, no wounds, 2 hits, 1 wound. Hey, I won a round! And they still hold. How far? 3 wounds left, 3 wounds left. The most dead unit of Elf Watchers that has ever been. They kill the chariot in exchange, but I don't really care at this point. Here we go. So the Lord is going to hit my Minotaur's tip. Prince Ice is hit 3 times immediately and has done a wound, so 2 left. I'm hopeful I get to hold on to the Minotaurs. 16 attacks, 12 hits. Good damage, 11. They're going to get all 3 hits because of the reroll annoyingly, so as long as I save... Yes, I get away with it. Good. I've got them broken. Yeah, and then just stamp on one. There you go. A participation award for Savage Splitter there. You technically helped. You stamped on a single one of those. I'll have you flank that one, and I'll have you... I'm not going to do that because the character, unlike the rest of you, the character actually gets to fight backwards and hit me, so I'm going to ignore them and stay away. That's at last been dealt with. They rally, that's annoying. I don't really want to fight them, I'll be honest. I'm just going to take damage for no reason. This would be the perfect unit to deal with them because you're the one that you can't harm with your wretched champion. Right, let's kill off this chariot now, please. Well, not you rolled 1 hit again, you did nothing. Come on, Feral Giant. I mean, you break them, which is nice. They're routing this turn, we don't even have to care about the champions unit. Victory achieved. Huzzah. Okay, so we'll fix the chariots up. They usually take a bit of a kicking. Can pretty much heal them to full. Everyone's fighting. Yeah, even if we get really unlucky, we roll double 1 and take a wound on the Feral Giant. It just heals 1 back automatically anyway, so almost never going to take damage. You've leveled an extra attack, so you actually do things in combat. It's appreciated. Chariot leveled. Extra skill is even better. Hitting on 3+ is going to be a big deal against certain targets. Feral Hounds leveled. Ooh, random stat on the Hounds is funny. We can get some really good stuff. Imagine 2 wound Hounds. That'd be really good. No, skill 5. They're extremely competent. The most competent Feral Hounds that have ever walked the earth. And the Giant. Ooh. I think I have to take the skill. Going from skill 3 to skill 4 is such a massive improvement for him. Because he just, as we've seen over and over again, even with 6 attacks, he just gets like 1 or 2 hits so consistent, it's awful. This would get what? An extra power. Don't really need extra defense, don't really need extra attacks. But not as good as skill. Extra wounds don't care, and extra discipline don't care. So yeah, the skill is by far the best we could get from the stat. So take the skill. Right, fix the chariots, please. They're pretty good, and everyone else takes gold. Huzzah, Act 1 defeated. So I think that's where we stop that there as a little marathon. I'm very happy with it. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If so, please do like and subscribe. It massively helps out the channel, and I do really appreciate it. If you have any notes on the run, or maybe what you'd like to see or what I could do differently, please do let me know. Or perhaps other SOVL based themed ideas you're interested in seeing. Or if you just want to chat with me and others down in the comment section, that's great too. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.